told you this was going to happen, but holy crap, what now? Well, the Pac-12 is back, but you knew that because you watch me here on Elite Athletes TV, and I told you this a week in advance that it was going to happen. Hey, everybody, welcome to Elite Athletes TV. I'm Mike Pawlawski, former 11-year pro quarterback and quarterbacks coach here at EliteAthletesTV.com. Have you ever wanted something like really, really bad in your entire life? Just wanted it so bad. Like when I was a kid, I wanted a horse, and you wanted a horse so bad, and all of a sudden you get one. It's like, whoa, what now? Well, that's what the Pac-12 is feeling like this week because players, coaches, fans, everybody wanted it so bad, and it's back. But what now? Before I get into it, make sure, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. That way you get the insights before they happen, like this Pac-12 prediction I made, and you get notified every time I have new content coming out. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to talk about the Pac-12 and what they're facing here today. And please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, share this video out. I'm trying to help out young athletes, share the love about football, and get this out to as many people as possible. I appreciate your help with that so far. And so let's see if we can keep this channel growing. Now, let's talk about what's going on inside Pac-12 and team headquarters around the conference. Think about this. They wanted to come back and play football. Everybody did. I wanted to come back and play too. And so now all of a sudden they get their wish. Big Ten kicks in, and now Pac-12 follows suit. And they're about to start up a 7-game season. They don't even know what that schedule is going to look like yet. They don't have it documented. If you go on the website at the Pac-12 and you click over to schedules and you go to upcoming schedules, it still hasn't been updated. So nobody knows what that schedule is going to look like. All they know is that they are starting play on November 7th. That's the first game. So they have 6 weeks to get ready for the season. Let's talk about what went into that. When I heard coaches talk about it, they said they need at least 5 weeks to get players ready for the season. And I had one of my former teammates from Cal call me. I won't give away names, but his name rhymed with mean, which was his nickname. But he and I were talking about this, and he's like, what do they need 5 weeks to get ready for the season for? We used to come in, we'd do 2 weeks of camp, and then we'd play football. And a lot of truth to that. When I was playing, you weren't allowed to have an organized summer workout session. And so players were expected to be ready on their own, working out, getting ready for the season at home. And a lot of players, the majority of the team, went home. Some of us stayed up for summer school, stayed around so we could work out at the facility, work on our education, of course, and were able to throw with teammates or work with teammates, whatever we were doing. But the majority of the team went home and trained and worked out on their own. And so when you got back in, it wasn't like, hey, you get 3 weeks to get in shape and then 2 weeks of camp. You come in, you go to camp. First couple practices are in grays, and then you're hitting, you're in pads. And so if you're not ready, it's going to show up and you're not going to play. Nowadays, it's a little different. They have organized, structured summer routines, teams working out. Coaches have gotten used to that. And so when they talk about getting players in shape, although they've been working out and their conditioning is good, they feel like they have to get them in shape for camp, to go to camp. So it is what it is. The difference between the Big Ten and the Pac-12, Big Ten, a lot of their facilities, the athletes were allowed to come in, work out together, kind of do their structured workouts without the promise of a season because of where they were located. Pac-12, mostly on the West Coast, outside of Arizona, most of the schools weren't able to come in and do the same type of training routine that they did in the Big Ten. So that's where some of that came in. Now, do the players need 5 weeks, 6 weeks to get ready? I don't know. I didn't when I was playing. We didn't when we were younger. But we can always go back to the throwback. Oh, we were so much tougher. Whatever. It is what it is. We got 6 weeks. The people who need 6 weeks are anybody in charge of logistics. I've talked to a couple guys around the conference who are in charge of putting together logistics for teams. Think about this. You don't have a schedule. You don't know where you're playing. Pac-12 games and schedules are booked out years in advance. You know who you're playing 3 years from now, for the most part, for upcoming seasons. And so travel, like reserving planes and putting together some kind of sponsorship package or payment package or whatever it is for all of your travel for that year, booked out in advance. Those airlines are, now they're going to be available this year, obviously, because a lot less traveling going on. But those airlines are usually booked out, so you've got to reserve that stuff way in advance. How about hotels? You have to get an entire team of dudes, 65 guys on the road traveling when you go to a Pac-12 game. Now, could be less than that because of pandemic and numbers and trying to minimize exposure this year. But still, let's say it's 50 guys. You have to find hotel rooms, lodging for 50 dudes. You have to set up meals. And so you have to have catering coming in or have the hotel staff cater it, figure all that out, figure out dietary, nutritional needs for a football team. It's a lot of food. So you got to get all that together as well. And then buses to and from stadiums, treatment, medical, all that stuff on the road. So logistics are nuts for this. And the guys in charge of logistics right now need some help from UPS because they got a lot on their plates in the next couple of weeks here coming up, trying to get this all set out for a season. How about now you have the added responsibility of testing? They all have the new rapid testing. They just got familiarized with that, so the medical staffs are getting familiar with it. But you have to put together protocols to get everybody on the team in order to get those tests done. 100 dudes getting in line. I mean, that's going to take a couple hours in and of itself right there. So trying to figure that out. The SEALs, Navy SEALs always said you have a plan A, and then you always have a plan B because plan A never comes through. And then once you have that plan B, then you have your plan C because A and B usually blow up. And then there's the one when everything gets FUBAR. And so you always have to have backup plans. They're going to have to figure out some new systems, and it's going to be learning on the run. So logistically, it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare. Finally, the players get to concentrate on football now. They have a goal. They have a focus. The beauty of team sports is that you're all pulling on the same rope. You are all focused on a singular goal for the team. And so these guys are now getting ready to play football. Coaches are getting ready to play football. Some players who were looking towards the next step for their careers, guys that were going to go into the NFL draft this spring, opted out so that they could have some certainty in terms of what they're doing. Those guys, the NC2A, is going to allow to reverse that decision. And I have it on good authority that a certain cornerback at Cal is going to be coming back, probably along with some other players around the conference. That's great news. A, for the players, B, for the sport and the schools, but overall for the game so that you get those great players to participate this fall. But the biggest job at hand as the team gets ready to play is going to be on administrators around the conference, figuring all this out, trying to work within this pandemic minefield that you have out there and all these new systems that they're going to have to orient, and they're going to have to try to figure out how to get teams to work in and around without making major mistakes, with the worry, again, of exposure from anywhere outside coming into the bubble. They have to figure it out. That's going to be a tough job. And so, hats off to you, administrators. It's going to be a rough couple months for you coming up, but I appreciate the work. Everybody at home, I told you this was going to happen. I knew the Pac-12 was coming back. And so I'm looking forward to football season this year. I am looking forward to calling games, looking forward to getting a lot of the updates and the previews and the post games to you here on this channel, which I'm going to be doing. We'll be bringing in some other announcers from around the conference, and we'll be talking football on a regular basis. But Pac-12 is back, excited to get underway and take a look at some college football.